Okay, round two. So I ran to the bathroom and brushed and flossed my teeth so you don't have to see all that food up in there. As much as I know you enjoyed it, scrumptious. I wanted to, like I said earlier, go ahead and make a video of where I am in this process and kind of what my journey was. I kind of had like a first and a last, and there's a lot that you missed in between, but I'm happy to continue to create other videos and help you along the way. Just send me whatever questions you might have. But I really wanted to make this video because I've been so happy with the results, and I wanted to share some of the kind of bumps along the road and how that orthodontist and my partner through this process was really a differentiator with how happy I was, or I will be, with my final results. And I know there's a lot of like Smile Direct Club and competitors that are more affordable in this space of aligners and teeth correction, but you know, I just want to share with you my experience with my orthodontist and why I think it was worth every penny. So, like I might have mentioned, it's been over a year, and this is my last week, my last tray. It's kind of bittersweet. I'm kind of weird about things that way. So I wore that first set, kind of that express set that I originally signed up for about 25 weeks was the plan. I ended up wearing them for something more like 40 weeks, and that's simply because I had a newborn and 2 other kids, and I was working in brand management and hyper career oriented and having to do a lot of public speaking, and at those times really a testament to the flexibility of these trays versus like wired braces is that I was able to take those out and be able to speak clearly and confidently in those very important business settings without having to have those like wire braces. So I think just was really excited with the flexibility that the trays brought me. So went the whole like 40 weeks, supposed to be 25 weeks, went the 40 weeks mostly. There were setbacks with, you know, I'd have a public speaking engagement, and then I would not put my tray back right away because it was on to the next meeting, or have a lunch meeting and then it was on to the next meeting, and the day kind of just gets away from you, like, you know, it can. And it doesn't mean that Invisalign doesn't work for me. It actually, I think, to me, just pointed out that it's flexible and I can make it work whatever way I need it to, or whatever my situation is. So one of the biggest other things was I wasn't terribly compliant with using that accelerator, like a vibrating tool that really brings everything down to 5 days. And so I was wearing my trays for something more like at least a week, sometimes longer if I felt like things weren't moving kind of quite the way that I wanted them to. And then after that time period with those trays, one of the things that my orthodontist had set me up with up front, she's like, you know, you could go the express route. You might not be completely happy. They won't be exactly straight. But they'll look great and they'll be straight enough. And at the time I was like, sure, yeah, I won't care. But by the time I'd gotten to that point where the trays were done, it looked fine. You know, I think for most people they'd be like, oh, this is a significant improvement, looks great. But for me at the time, I was like, well, I've already worn them this long. They've been very comfortable, at least for me. It's been really easy and with no additional cost. So that's what I want to stress again, another point as to why your orthodontist can be an amazing partner. With no additional cost, I was able to get the additional 25 trays to get to that all the way to perfect. So that included the new impression and all the new trays. It was all included in the full package, you know, and I think that says a lot about the orthodontist and Invisalign program, that it's about making sure that you're happy with the results and not necessarily turning you in every step of the process. So that's kind of baked into the price of the product as well. You know, something else to consider. Yeah, you pay a premium, but it's there for those reasons. So I went ahead and did the other extra 25 weeks. I've been significantly more compliant this time. It's probably taken me something more like 35 weeks or so, somewhere between 30 and 35 weeks. But what I'm seeing now with my last tray is that all those little fine, little tiny things, you know, the bite wasn't exactly right. There was like when I close my mouth, there's like, these teeth are just a little bit of a gap. So hence the rubber band. So just really gets it all the way to where I'm gonna be like, yes, we're done. And one of the things that I'm gonna be using this time around that I wish I'd done way back when I had braces was really taking advantage of things like permanent retainers. Again, another reason why it's important to have an orthodontist with you in this process, because you know, without it, you're just going back, you know, when I'm done with these trays, then I'm just supposed to every night wear my retainer. And I get a lot of movement. I don't know about you guys, if you're already in this journey or if you're new to this, everybody's different, but I get a lot of movement with my bottom teeth if I go a few days, or not a few days, I've never gone a few days without wearing my trays, but like a few hours without wearing my trays, I'm gonna start to feel it. You can feel that movement. And I just felt that for me, just having my retainer worn every night wasn't going to be enough to keep my teeth to where I want them to be. And I also don't want that movement back and forth, right? So they're moving during the day and then at night you adjust them again, and then they're, because one of the things that my dentist had talked to me about was, you know, if you think about your teeth like fence posts, there's fence posts right there. If you think about your teeth as being like fence posts in the ground, you know, think about that. If you're moving a fence post back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, what happens over time is that it's gonna loosen and fall out. And I already have not a ton of gum tissue in my front teeth because of that adjustment and the correction. And so for me, I don't want a situation where my teeth fall out. And so I don't want that back and forth and back and forth and back and forth movement. I just don't think it's going to be healthy. And so the option, and you've seen this probably, it's not new news to you, is a permanent retainer. But you often see those on your lower teeth. My top teeth, they're not perfect little suckers either. And they want to go back to the way God intended and my genetics intended. And they want to be on top of each other, which is great. You know, I'm all about love. Apparently, so is my genetic makeup and my dental structure. But I don't like the way that looks. So, hence this whole Invisalign journey. And so I talked to my orthodontist a lot about like, what's the plan? What are we gonna do once we're done here? Because I can't just walk out the door and end up with my little crooked teeth again. So, you know, she said, you know, I don't do this often, and I'll tell you why she said that. She said, I don't do this often. Let's take a look at some things. One of the options is a retainer along the top teeth. And so why she says she doesn't do it often. She says she doesn't do it often because I'm sure your orthodontist may or may not, if they're professional experience, they might tell you that your bottom teeth rub up against the top teeth and with time wear away your retainer. And you know, I did a little finagling with her and I had her take a look at kind of the projection for where my teeth are supposed to be. I talked to her about the fact that, you know, my bottom teeth really just the way my bite is, I don't really have that much of a problem, an issue with that. And so she took a look at the projection. She says, you know what, you know, I think you'll be fine. Let's try it. And I'm happy to go back and put that sucker out as many times as it takes. I'm fine with it. Hopefully it won't be an issue. But what I'm finding is, you know, your teeth will change a lot in this process. The function, if you have your Invisalign trays, you'll see there's like a 22, 23, 24, 25 plus. And the job of those little trays is once you've kind of spread your teeth out with your trays and they're all kind of adjusted and gotten straight, those last few plus trays, like they're optional or something. And my orthodontist is like, yeah, it's optional. And I'm like, we're gonna go all the way. I want it done right. And so those trays bring everything in, right? So if your teeth kind of are sticking out, they're like wide in some ways, which is a function. I mean, there's gonna be gaps because it's gotta create room to straighten your teeth. But the function of those last few trays is to tighten everything up, which has been, I can tell you that I hadn't had my trays hurt in weeks. And when I put tray 23 in, it was like day one. And it was in a whole different space because it's starting that job of moving your teeth tighter and closer, and it's like every tooth at the same time. So even today, this is my first day of my last tray, and I can't tell you it's comfortable. I think you can even hear it in my speech. I usually don't have a speech problem wearing my aligners, but this is a completely different journey that we're on in this last week. And so with that tightening, when I take out my trays to eat or brush my teeth or whatever, I do notice that my bottom teeth are kind of bumping up against my top teeth. I guess that's why she's the professional. So we'll see how that goes. So in a few weeks, I'm gonna get my permanent retainers on, and I'll update and I'll talk to you guys about what it's like and what's going on. You're gonna see all my little teeth all in a row without the trays. I'm gonna have my buttons shaved off, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be like Christmas. So I just wanted to share with you guys that journey. Again, Invisalign versus Smile Direct. Smile Direct Club is going to be your affordable option. It's going to work great for a whole lot of people. But without it, you don't have that professional, that champion along the way to be able to do things like, hey, you can have a whole new impression and a whole new set of trays to get you to perfect and make sure you're happy. And hey, my retainers, my permanent retainers, those are included. And my permanent trays, my retainer trays, those are included. And you know, I had an issue with tracking, and you guys can put some comments below if you have questions. I'm happy to talk to you about it. But I can't imagine being part of the Smile Direct Club and do my impression at home and send it off, and then having issues like many people do. I've seen it on the forums, I've seen it on the blogs, with tracking where maybe one tooth isn't moving the way it was supposed to move. That professional, that orthodontist is there to do things like talk to you about chewies, or talk to you about, you know, is it bad enough that you need whole new impressions? And I just don't know. I've never experienced that competitor. But I can guess that at that discount, those services probably aren't there for you in the same way as my orthodontist, literally less than a quarter mile away from me. So I'm very happy, and I'm so excited to update you on all kinds of other little things, like this guy, Tevye. He's my fiddler fig, and so his name is Tevye. Get it? I think some of you get it. I know. I do play Fiddler on the Roof tracks for him every morning, and I think he loves it. So that's all I have to say, you guys. You've listened to a whole 13 minutes of chatter. I hope you like it.